Hello Internet and welcome back. So today is going to be a really different episode. This is going to be the part 1 of 3 of our braided coils special. Yes, on one of my earlier videos, I am so sorry if I'm going to butcher your name, Darwin Hawkins actually asked me what was my take on braided coils. And he actually sent me, as you can see, some of his work, which is really cool. So I've decided to do a 3-part special on how to make braided coils. We're going to go through several types of braided coils, and we're going to finish it off with a really special coil that I've built for you guys. So stay tuned. So what you're going to need is a set of cutting pliers, a set of normal pliers, your wire, which this case is actually 29 gauge, but you will most likely need the 32 gauge, which is thinner. Remember, the higher the gauge, the thinner it is. And working gloves, because this is going to wreck your fingers, and also a vise. Alright, so first things first, you're going to have to take, for this coil, 3 strands of wire. So you just grab your little spool. One of the things I like to do is I just grab it with the pliers and I just roll it, and then once I get the measurement that I want, I give it like a really strong pull. You're gonna feel the wire like give in a little bit, because once you do, there you go, as you can see, it is now straight. It's a little tip. Also, make sure you grab the end of your spool so the wire doesn't go crazy. You cut it, and in this specific case, as you can see, I have a little magnet that puts the wire in place, so it doesn't allow it to go crazy. So there you go. Right, now after we've done all the cutting and the measurements, because they should be roughly the same size, so in this case they're not, I'm just gonna give it a little extra cut here because these are the longest ones. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a loop, like a small loop like this. Alright, so this one's going to be fairly straightforward because it's only a 6-strand braided coil. And the 6-strand braided coils are actually a little bit roundish. They're not flat. So these are good for you to wrap around on your RDA or RTA. If you make more strands, if you make it with more wire, more loops, they get like wider, but they actually get thinner. And I'll zoom this in a bit just to check, but for now what we're gonna do is we're gonna literally just give it a little twisty twist just so that it stays in place. What I like to do is I literally just grab it with a set of pliers and I just literally rotate. So this is just the preparation phase. You do this with all of your wires, and then you just need to put them on the vise. This is just so that they don't go crazy. Okay, one down, you just need to do now on the other 2. Get them on the vise, standing up. That you have your wires in a vise, what you're gonna do is with your ring finger, you're gonna grab one strand, ring finger on your left hand, and the middle finger you're gonna grab another strand, and then with the middle finger on your right hand you're gonna hold this. So this is how it is, right? Pretty straightforward. And then with your index and your thumb, you're just gonna go inside the first one, as you can see, 1, 2. You're gonna go inside the first one, grab the furthest wire, just pull it, and then stretch. And now as you can see, you can do the same thing with the other hand. So with your index and your thumb, you're going to go inside the first loop, and you're going to grab the furthest loop. And then once you grab it, you stretch. Now you're in a position like your index fingers are all, occupied. So what you do is, on your right hand, you just put your middle finger in, and there you go. You freed your thumb and your index, and on your left hand you can actually do the same. You just put your ring finger here, and then you put your middle finger, and there you go. Now same thing with this hand, it goes inside the first one and grabs the furthest one, and there you go, you stretch. And now, same thing on the other side. So basically you just do repetition after repetition after repetition. And once you get the hang of it, it just gets easier and easier and easier. So I'm just gonna carry on making this one, fast forward a little bit, and then show you the end result. So now I'm just gonna clear off this excess. Open my vise. Also, you might just want to cut it around the beginning. And let me just have a closer inspection. Okay, and for this build I'm going to be using the Widowmaker RDA, and we're going to grab our coil that we just made. Actually not this one, this is the one I made previously, the coil that we just made, and we're going to wrap it around. So it's pretty straightforward as well, you just need to be careful with your fingers. So you're going to put your finger in and you're just going to give it all the wraps you want. So you can, if you made enough, you can actually make 2 coils out of it, but I didn't in this case because this is just a tutorial. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we can try and go for a 5th wrap. And there you go, 5 wraps. There you go. Now we got your cutting pliers, cut this little excess here. The downside is when you cut it, it just like completely destroys itself. You just get loose wires everywhere. Well, no. On this RDA, you can actually, we're going to use a single coil configuration. So instead of connecting from here to here, we're going to be connecting from here to here. Okay, so now this is pretty standard. You guys have done this thousands of times. It might be actually, this might be too big. So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit as well. And now we grab our own reader and see how much this is actually reading. 0.33. Okay, now we just need to check for the hotspots, wick it, and I'm going to be using my Vape pulse. I'm just going to lower the wattage. Now we're just gonna have to wick it. And to wick it, we're gonna be using Cotton Bacon Prime, not the normal cotton bacon, but the prime one. I don't see much of a difference, to be honest, but hey. So I'm just gonna get this loop-de-loop around, see if we don't gonna scorch the cotton. There you go. There we go, perfect. We grab our trusty scissors. snip, and you know the drill. Now for the liquid, we're going to be using 12 Monkeys Jungle Secrets. It's a new one that I've tried and I generally just love it. It's also the same as what I have in the Pulse, so I won't be mixing any flavors, just make sure it gets really nice and saturated. Okay. Also, it's always nice to have a little bit on your rings because I've cleaned all my RDAs, so it might be a bit dryish. Okay. Clean everything up and give it a try. Okay, moment of truth. Let's give it a go. I'm gonna be vaping this at 60 watts. Nice. Not too much clouds. The cloud's not too big, but that's because they might be related to the ramp up time of the coil. Usually, bigger, beefier coils they have a longer ramp up time, which is a little trick for you guys. If you see, people tend to do this as a because it looks cool, but it actually is. You blow it into it to, you know, release the vapor and gives time for the coil to actually warm up properly, and then when you inhale air you actually get the full blast of it. I'm quite happy with this. I'm quite satisfied. Really pulls out the flavor. Ramp up time is actually not bad. For 60 watts, usually I go for 80 or even 100 for beefier coil, so I'm actually quite impressed with this build. But either way, this is all for what I have for you guys today. A big shout out to Mr. Hawkins for giving me the idea of making this this video. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on part 2.